Hello everyone, Cole here with episode 35 of Questions for Cole. It is January 13th, 2021. First of all, since our Name That Manitoba Town quiz ended, I've received quite a few requests to show some of the answers, especially some of the tough ones that stumped some of you. So let me just get my papers out here. Some of them were fairly easy and all of you got them, but this one was a particularly difficult one for a few of you. This is Roland. Roll land, I guess. Roland. That one I think everyone got. Pilot Mound. This one was Selkirk. The only person who didn't get it was only because they were looking at their phone and couldn't see any of the words, just saw the person. That was Churchill. I think everyone got that one. This page had a few tough ones on it. This one was Carman. Carmen. This one was Starbuck. This one was a tough one. Low Farm. There's a town in Manitoba called Low Farm. And I think everyone got this one, Fisher Branch. And this one had a couple of tough ones on it too. This one was Bozeman. It's covered with bows. Petersfield. Gladstone. And Leaf Rapids. You can see the leaves there going down the quick water. So Leaf Rapids. And I think that's about all for the tough ones. But I need some help. There was a page of other ones that we had found, but they didn't come with any answers. I used almost all of these that I found elsewhere, but there was one on here that I couldn't find anywhere else, and I couldn't find an answer to this anywhere. So if any of you wise ones, magi, out there can help me with this one. It's got two little pigs, it looks like. Looks like one's got the other one by the tail. And they're in this long hallway with doors at the end. And I can't figure that one out. So let me know if you have a thought. And I don't think there's any prizes for this one, but it'll sure help me rest easier at night, not trying to figure this one out in my head for the last month or so. Okay. Glad some of you had lots of fun with that quiz. The question I received this week was from one of our Sunday school children, actually. Apparently, she became quite thoughtful and theological one day when she was in the middle of doing one of those great Sunday school crafts that went out to all of our families during the Christmas season. This was her question. She said, I really don't understand this. First, Jesus was alive, then he was dead, then he was alive, and now he's dead again. Well, that is certainly some deep thinking, and I thought it sounded like something that I needed to tackle in a Questions for Cole episode. So here we go. Let's start with the first part. First, Jesus was alive. Interestingly, that first thought came from doing the nativity craft. So the idea came from Jesus being born into the world. That actually got me thinking about how in the Bible, according to the Gospel of John, there's the concept of Jesus being alive even before his birth in Bethlehem. I apologize if I'm making this even more confusing than it already was, but John's Gospel starts this way. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him. And many people have told us, and scholars have decided that that means that the Word is Jesus. And then John goes on to describe how John the Baptist came to prepare the way for Jesus to come into the world. But what John is trying to say in his very poetic way of writing is that Jesus, in some spiritual way, has always existed, has always been a part of God. Jesus was born in Bethlehem as a baby, but according to those verses in John's Gospel, that wasn't the beginning for Jesus, because he was with God from the very beginning of time. That's not very easy for any of us to understand, but that's what makes reading the Bible so interesting, I think. Difficult concepts and difficult ideas make for some deep thinking, and I think that's good for us. We might not always have easy answers to everything or fully comprehend everything we read. Maybe that keeps us humble. But mainly, I think it's good just to sit with the questions sometimes and just accept that there's some mystery involved in all of this. In the birth of Jesus, in the beginnings of creation, in heaven, lots of mystery. I think that's a really good thing. So according to John, Jesus was with God from the very beginning of time. Then, when the time was right, Jesus came to earth as a baby, born in Bethlehem. Now let's get to the next part of the question. Jesus died. Yes, all four Gospels talk about the crucifixion and the death of Jesus. And the next part, and then Jesus was alive again. Yes, and all four of the Gospels tell the Easter story and talk about how Jesus was raised from death and appeared to the women and the disciples. In fact, according to Scripture, after the resurrection, Jesus stayed with the disciples and his other followers, continuing to teach them for 40 days, and only then did he return to God in heaven. Now, in the question that was sent to me, the ending was, let me just find that again. I'll read the whole thing again. Jesus was alive, then he was dead, then he was alive, and now he's dead again. So, we're on to the last part. Now he's dead again. That's the one that I want to explain a little more, because he's not really dead again. And here we have some more of the mystery of heaven. The Bible doesn't actually say that Jesus died again. It says that he was taken up into heaven. We have a special word for that. That word is ascend, which means to rise. Jesus ascended into heaven. Some churches actually have a day of celebration 40 days after Easter called Ascension Sunday, celebrating the day that Jesus ascended or rose back into heaven. Now, the point of all that, the point of Jesus being resurrected and staying with his friends, teaching them some more, and then returning to heaven, is that God wanted us all to learn about heaven. God wanted us to know that after our lives on earth are over, like Jesus, we start a new life in heaven. So we don't have to be afraid of death. And that is good news for us all. Thank you for that very thoughtful and very good question. And that's all I have for today. I will see you next time on Questions for Cole. Have a great week, everyone.